Yeah. It's the first. It's the first. It's the first episode. It's the first. Might be your last.
But I'm looking for my first.
First episode podcast. Welcome to First Episode Podcast, a cherry-popping debrief of your next binge-worthy television series. I'm your host, Motown Maurice.
I'm Atara G.
And I'm guest host, Raj Jawa.
Today we're cherry-popping Wondla.
Forced to flee her underground sanctuary for Earth's surface, Eva discovers a world unlike anything she expected. As she journeys across perilous terrain and unknown civilizations, Eva asks whether she is the last human.
Science fiction, fantasy, comedy drama, post-apocalyptic are the genres.
Welcome back, gang.
Thank you.
Welcome back. It's been a while.
It's been a little bit, but we're back at it again. Looking forward to knocking this one out and two more. Good things are on the horizon. Mr. Raj, what you been up to?
Not too much. I mean, I guess I'll just share that I had a birthday just recently.
Ooh,
so
happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Was it one of those birthdays where you feel good about yourself, or it's like, another year?
You know what? It was in the middle. I worked hard to make it as celebratory as possible. So I went out to Fat Burger one evening, which is nice. My favorite fast food burger. And then I went to sushi another night, actually the night of my birthday. A little disappointed that I went to one place and they're like, oh, we don't serve solo diners. I'm like, that's disappointing. That's real disappointing. So I went to another place. It was very nearby and they were very nice and I enjoyed the sushi very much. But yeah, so I didn't let it get me down. But yeah, had some nice dinners. And yeah, it was just a great birthday.
Well, we may have to do a do-over.
Sure.
I know
yeah.
we've talked about Korean barbecue in the past, but I know a great sushi place that does serve solo diners.
Oh,
but we
nice.
won't. I'll take you. We'll take you.
Well, great.
We'll go together.
Did you also go to Fat Burger by yourself?
I did.
What?
Yeah.
Did you spend your birthday at all with anybody?
You know, let me say, I just came back from Arizona doing a film shoot, like just before my birthday. So I would say like that felt like a celebration.
Okay.
Just to be on set. I hadn't been on set. A set I haven't produced in probably 5 years. Yeah. So it's nice. It was really nice to be back in that swing of things. Feel like you're back in the, talking with crew, talking with cast. It was a small, intimate set. So yeah, it's just enjoyable.
Yeah. Well, hence one of the things we're going to be talking about theme-wise on Wondla, family. You're like family, Raj.
Yes.
So if birthday's important to you, it's important to us.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll talk about doing something.
Sweet.
It's not important to me. That's why no one ever knows.
I was just about to say, I do not know when Motown's birthday is. So I just, we don't celebrate.
And that's a conversation we don't have to get into.
Exactly. But back to how you said you did solo celebrations, I'm actually a little envious of that because I do every year try to have a solo celebration. Like I don't mention my birthday. Inevitably, I get a text, what are you doing for your birthday? And I can never get away with doing a solo celebration, which I think actually would be kind of nice, to just kind of chill out with yourself and celebrate and contemplate what's kind of, the forthcoming year.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think there's the tendency to, I mean, if it's your event and especially if you gathered your friends, you're the host. Now you're kind of on, even if you're out somewhere else, you might feel like, oh, the waiter screwed that up. I better fix that for them or whatever, Yeah. So yeah, I think there is something to just kind of, doing it on your own. And I honestly, it wasn't about like telling people it was my birthday or whatever. I literally just wanted to give myself that treat because I have a tendency to not do that. Obviously I'll eat fast food or whatever occasionally, but yeah, this was a time where I'm like, oh, it's my day. It's my time. I can actually take a moment and enjoy some things I enjoy. And I think being alone is almost part of that in some ways.
Oh yeah. We're never alone anymore. So
That's
it's
true.
Something signaling for our attention.
If you're not alone, you're not going to discover things about yourself. Hence, something else we're going to be talking about.
Very true. Good tie-ins. Good tie-ins.
That's our cue. Raj.
But I must say that I look forward to talking about and learning more about your acting endeavors of recent and things like that. You're the interesting one of the bunch.
Oh, I don't know. Thank you. I don't know about that.
But Wondland, yes, you chose this, Atara, and I'm glad you did. It had a slow start, but it built upon its slow start.
An agonizingly slow start. I really struggled. What was this? Not even 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really struggled to stay attached. I was trying to stay open emotionally so that I could, feel what the theme was, figure out what was important to me about the show, about what was happening. But I really struggled. I couldn't connect with anything that was happening for the first, 20 minutes.
Definitely, it was a little tough with the beginning on how it transpired. But I will say, based on how the episode ended, I'm expecting a lot of excitement moving forward.
I will say this is based on how the episode started and how it ended. I can see this is going to be great for children of, I think, any age group, because I think the way it started and then, we get to the end of the episode and she's a little older, I think it's going to be great for children.
Absolutely.
Your first impressions, Raj?
I really enjoyed it. I definitely agree with the slowness of it, and I think Apple did as well because, as I told you guys while we were before we started recording, they push a trailer in the timeline of this show, which basically, overviews some of the stuff that's going to happen, some of the adventures, as it were. And I think it's clear, at first I'm like, why did they do this? And then after watching the episode one time, I'm like, oh, I see. Maybe people wouldn't be intrigued. Not enough happened especially for something you call a pilot episode. It's a little slow. The only thing I will give it credit for, though, and I don't know if this was its intention, maybe this is a personal, more of a personal moment, but there was a lot of scenes really emphasizing the nurture aspect of Eva's growth, both with Mother and also the Migo play partner, what have you, the play mate, as it were. And what really stuck out to me there, and I think this is, again, just something personal, is how much, as someone who didn't experience a lot of nurture in his own upbringing, how much I initially wanted to dismiss a lot of the Migos, yeah, you did it. You're doing it. You're doing such a good job. And after a moment, I'm like, oh no, that's not me. That's me dismissing it because I'm hurt. That's not me dismissing it because it's bad. And I just want to emphasize that I don't expect to be a parent, but anyone that does expect to be a parent, definitely take note of that kind of over exuberance towards early childhood, accomplishments, no matter how mundane or stupid or whatever, because it leads to a lot of, I think, that's how kids gain their confidence and their value of themselves before they enter out into the world. Maybe that's the kind of sheltering of Eva in this environment is maybe kind of a to bring that heightened attention to that kind of real nurturing aspect that at least I noticed.
I would agree. I too suffer from a lack of parental exuberance as a young child. But I have a niece now, she's 3, and sometimes I'm playing with her and she'll do something and everyone's like, oh, yay, Leona, yay. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't have the energy for all of that. Mm-hmm. But then I'm like, no, it's important because that's how she's going to build her confidence, and I'll be honest, I do suffer from a lack of confidence. I'm constantly having to hype myself up, and it can be exhausting. So it is great when a lot of adults can do that together for a child. But yeah, I did. And that was what I found exhausting, having to watch that part, because I was just like, this is boring me. But it wasn't until you just shared what you shared that I was like, I get it,
For sure. I don't know if that makes it like the show like better. I just noticed as that's something I would gravitate towards, and perhaps other people who have had that kind of upbringing of lack might notice.
Without seeing the additional episodes, I think the adventure has the potential to be really fantastic, but that pilot episode does really lay it out as a children's foundation. So that's why you presented it as it's going to be great for kids. I think adults will like it and enjoy it too. But as you observed, Raj, Apple is doing a lot of cleanup in the presentation and the marketing of it because that pilot episode missed the mark in a lot of places.
Yeah. I enjoy children's shows. So I was surprised that I was disappointed that I struggled so much with the first episode because I'll watch Bluey. I have no problem.
And it took you a day or two to find your theme, but when you found it, it hit.
Yeah, we watched the show. When did we watch it? Sunday?
I believe so.
And we watched it Sunday, and it took me a good 4 days of thinking about this show. I mean, we watched 3 shows on Sunday, and we're going to do a podcast of each. And normally by the end of the week, I have my themes for all the shows that we watched. I spent all of my time thinking about this show, figuring out how am I connecting to this show. And I realized it was through self-discovery. The theme that I pulled out was discovery and self-discovery. Because I'm thinking about it, and she's in this bunker for all these years. She's 16, right now at the end of the show, at the end of this first episode, she's 16. She's been in this bunker all these years. All she knows is what has been presented to her in this bunker and what has been told to her as the truth in this bunker. And then the day before the big event, she goes rogue and discovers a whole bunch of stuff, which is causing her to question everything else. And then she gets thrown out into the outside before she was supposed to, and it's not what she was told it was. So I think she's discovering that what she thought is not. What she was told is not necessarily the truth. And then she's also going to go through, I imagine in the next episodes, the episodes to come, we're going to see her go through a series of self-discovery moments because she only knows who she is in the context of mother, the multi-utility task helper robot, MUTHR.
Good memory.
Thank you. She only knows who she is in the context of mother. She hasn't had any friends to compare herself to and say, oh, Penelope does that. I don't like to do that. Robert likes apples. I like oranges. So I think this show is going to be a lot about challenges, how she chooses to overcome them, discovering who she is, what she likes, what she doesn't like, which is exciting and which I think is really important for kids. Also because social media for kids these days is kind of always telling them who they are and what they want to be. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Good
self-discovery there for Ava. For us adults, we have to either go to a fat burger or a sushi joint to find out who we are.
Well, I think as adults, they say every 7 years you go through a change. But I think even when we become adults and we've decided who we want to be, there's still periods of self-discovery as you get, you move to a new town or you make a new circle of friends or you start dating someone new. Or you start a new job.
Going to therapy.
Yeah, you go to therapy. Those are all moments and scenarios and changes in life that bring about periods of self-discovery. Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's incredibly painful. Mm-hmm. But I think at the end of those periods, we always come out better for it.
Yeah. I just want to add that, there's nothing wrong with being alone. Being alone is important. That's where you self-discover.
Well, yes, there's a difference between loneliness and being alone.
Loneliness can be unhealthy.
And I think people confuse that because in this world, we are so conditioned to constantly be in contact with someone on the phone, on social media, not always having some exterior stimulation. or stimulation. Yeah, stimulation. But yeah, alone is healthy. Loneliness is not healthy, and not able to be alone is not healthy. In my humble opinion.
Yeah.
One interesting kind of, I don't know if it's an addition to that or kind of a pull out of that is like when Mother reveals that she is actually Eva is the only one that is in one of these shelters alone. Some parallels to Fallout there, by the way, but that Eva is the only one in these shelters that is a kid alone, whereas other shelters probably do have kids in groups. And Mother had stated she made that choice. There may be a bit of a experimentation going on in the fact that, you know, whether it's the company that's running all this or whatever, there is some kind of reason she's been decided or chosen to be put in a shelter alone with just the mother robot.
Self-resiliency comes to mind. You know, it'll be interesting to see where this goes.
Yeah, perhaps there's a I don't think it's the right message, but maybe there's an idea that, you know, in groups there's weakness. If someone has to firmly rely only on themselves, maybe they will be the true survivor in this harsh world that they've created.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. And to add, I just want to add on my theme really briefly, which I think it correlates with yours, Atara, which is family. It struck a chord with me when Ava asked the robot, "Are you my family?" And the robot was like, "No, I'm not your family. I'm your multi-utility task helper robot." But you know, so many people define the word family as in someone who you share the same blood with, your relatives. And that's not what family is. Family is more than that. Family is what you make it. I found this beautiful statement about family that I want to share, and it's just like spot on. Family isn't defined only by last names or by blood. It's defined by commitment and by love. It means showing up when they need it most. It means having each other's back. It means choosing to love each other even on those days when you struggle to like each other. It means never giving up on each other. That's by David Willis, The Mind's Journal. And that's essentially what family is, you know? People you're willing to fight for.
Well, you know what I like to say?
Which I said it, but I'll let you take credit.
Okay, well, we'll argue about that offline. There's relatives and then there's family. Relatives are just blood related. Family is the people that you invest in relationships with.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And your family is people you go to church with, people you work with, people you do podcasts with.
It can be anybody you invite to the table.
Yeah. So I, without a doubt, I definitely believe that's going to be brought back up within the show's timeline, maybe sometime in the first season. And she's going to correct the robot and say, "Look, you are my family."
I mean, and I think in these days, it's really important. Some people have really small families. I mean, and I've met people who their parents are gone. They're the only child. And it's just them, you know, and they're like, "I have no family." But, you know, your friends are your family, you know, so it's really important for us to grasp that you create your family structure. It's whether you're blood related to someone does not define that.
Atara goes through these moments where she's like, I think I'm going to cancel my YMCA membership. And then she's like, "Let me just go one last time before I cancel." And then she's like, "But that's my pickleball family right afterwards. I can't cancel."
So true. Such a sucker. I show up, they're like, "Oh, Atara, we missed you." And I'm like, "Okay, I won't cancel."
That's it. That's all she needs to hear. And, you know, and they serve their purpose. Like when we're together, we are family on those pickleball courts.
Yeah.
You know, once we depart, we ain't like reaching out to each other.
We have the
for
WhatsApp
things.
group.
Yeah, in which we talk about
like,
pickleball related things.
Yeah.
Sometimes we chime in on other things, but they serve their purpose, which
community.
is
Family and community are kind of, you know, they're one and the same.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And your theme, Raj?
Well, I'll be a downer now. I had my heartfelt moment earlier. Now it's time for me to bring it down. No, my theme was really just the idea of corporate control, or like the corporate savior idea. She gets this Omnipod, which is a Dynacorp product. The Dynacorp logo's on the wall. The Dynacorp logo's on the boxes. So in my parsing out this information, for me, it becomes clear that humanity continues to rely on the corporation to save us, even if it's maybe the corporation and our actions, but the corporations that have really destroyed the earth or made it sick, as it were, we're still going to rely upon the corporation, or maybe just one, but it's going to be the companies that apparently are our saviors, not ourselves, maybe even. And I really noticed the desire to kind of sweep that destruction under the carpet when I forget, Cassius, I believe his name is. He says, the earth is very sick and it needed time to get better without us. And I found that's the kind of corporate lack of taking responsibility. It's like, oh, no, there's a problem. It's like, how did the problem happen? Oh, I don't know. I don't know how it happened. Something got sick somehow. Don't know. I think the only positive recognition of this corporate new world, I guess, is the fact that Eva's education, her training to prepare for going outside the shelter, included some more cultured aspects, art, technology, agriculture, things that obviously these are more practical things for a world that is completely destroyed, but at the same time not completely destroy or detaching her from her humanity, which is, I think, something we associate education with today mostly.
Yeah.
We are struggling with being detached from humanity. I see a lot of that.
Yeah. Now, I agree with everything you're saying, Raj, but can you agree that the propaganda is so cute in this show?
Migo was very, very cute. I agree. No, it's true. To be honest, that character should be probably more annoying, and he was actually endearing, I have to say. So I don't fault him. I hope we see more Migo at some point. I know he got left in the hallway, but still,
it was so sad. I was like, wow, she just left him on the ground in the hallway in disarray.
Oh man, this show, what does it remind you of?
I mean, I did say Fallout earlier. Yeah.
You did say. Sorry, I missed that.
No, not at all.
Fallout for sure. It's got that Fallout vibe with the sanctuary and the bunker. Just like that. And so as soon as I saw the environment, I thought of Fallout right away.
Even the alien that breaks into the shelter is kind of cute. In a way.
I think that's the Disney thing. They're just like, it can't be too hideous.
He's very round. He's got fangs, but they aren't pointed,
So now that we've discussed the themes, Atara, what do you think of the entertainment potential and your level of cherries? How many cherries are you going to give it?
I'm torn. I'm like 3 or 4. I think if I say 3, it's because of what I think. But if I'm thinking of, I don't know. You go first.
I will give it a 3.5. And I think we're all critical of how slow it started, but I definitely believe in the potential. I believe in the potential. I want to see further episodes. The entertainment value is high. It ended right. It just had a what's going on beginning.
Okay. Thank you, because now I feel better about my 3. I'm not being unfair. But yeah, I like the way it ended, and I do agree with the potential. It was just too slow of a start.
Yeah.
And I hope that people listen to this podcast and are encouraged to watch past the slowness.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I probably at this episode would give it about a 2.5. Just because of the slowness, and I'm always because similar to Iwaju, I'm very interested in these stories that these shows have brought up, but I just don't know if I want to go into it, because I think especially with kids shows, a lot of times they maybe sometimes oversimplify things, and I I want to get deep. I want to know more about this corporate control, and I don't think they're going to get into it. So yeah, I think there's aspects for me that are missing, that are obviously not important to the kids and probably the families that are watching. And I'm like, no, tell me about the corporations. Why are they evil?
Raj wants the backstory.
I do.
Who embezzled?
How did we get here?
Yeah.
We just watched A Quiet Place Day One just last night, and that's what was missing. Like, this day one, we want the backstory of the aliens. We didn't get that at all.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, okay, I don't want to take the conversation off path, but that day one wasn't about the aliens. It was about the day they landed and what was happening on the day they landed.
So what you're saying is we need A Quiet Place Day 0.
Yes. Maybe planning.
Hopefully, but I think that's what people were expecting.
Yeah.
And that's when I looked at the IMDb comments. They're like, this is not what I expected. Why is this movie about pizza? And I'm not even exaggerating. It was a movie about pizza. A quest for pizza.
It was a quest
people
for
just
pizza.
don't.
You seen it?
Yeah, I did
Oh,
see it.
okay.
People
cool.
don't get symbolism. It was the pizza symbolized something. Her sweater symbolized something. Her cat.
It was okay symbolism. It
people
was okay.
just want like a video game movie, No.
No. We just want
I think this
depth.
was a video
We
game
want-
movie. This felt like, because it was
Yeah.
just a lot of destruction,
Yeah.
and a lot. It didn't seem like the hero's journey had a big reasoning. Like I do get the symbolism. It's very important to her to get that pizza. It sounds stupid as we all sit here and talk about it, but for her, it was very meaningful. It just, I guess maybe the idea is it's kind of like a bit like a child. It's like the world is gone and you want an Xbox. Like what do you want me to get for you?
But her world was gone so long before
That's
those
fair.
aliens arrived.
That's fair.
So to her, it's like, okay, I don't have to go back to the place I was. I can keep going. But let's get back to
Wait. I
First
do
10
have-
minutes of a movie podcast.
I know,
Yeah.
right? So, wait. I have to ask you, Raj, as a cat lover, does the cat in A Quiet Place Day One get an Oscar?
I mean, he's a good cat. I will say it was a good cat. That is probably an Oscar-winning cat performance, I would say.
For sure.
But he was constantly running off and putting their lives at risk.
He's the adventure.
The only time their life was at risk is when they went to go find the cat.
Yeah, that's true. Classic
My
cat.
dog would have been right with me. She would not. I said
Okay,
she
we're
would
not
have
putting
stayed right
dogs and
here.
cats versus
She wouldn't
each-
have gone anywhere.
We're talking about the
let me
acting.
go see what this spore is over here. No.
We're talking about the performance.
First
the
episode
acting
podcast is
performance.
coming out against cats.
I know.
Well, I know I love cats. My first pets were cats. I'm just saying they're rogue. Don't rely on a cat. When the aliens land, it's not the cat who is going to keep you out of danger. It's the cat who's going to put you in dangerous situations.
Ironically, I didn't see Alien, but didn't it work out in Alien though?
Now you're going to go make me watch Alien.
Well, me too. Let's watch together.
We should.
We'll
I
figure
haven't-
out how the cat works
Well,
out.
Romulus is coming out. I do want to watch that.
Okay. Cool.
Sorry. You can
would.
cut all of this.
No, we're keeping it. Wondla was released on June 28th, 2024. It is streaming on Apple TV Plus, and the average duration is 24 minutes.
The IMDb rating is 7.5, and there's currently one season with a total of 7 episodes.
All right, we got some bonus information for those who want to know. Wondla is actually based off of a book. It's a children's book series. The author is Tony Terralizzi. The first one is Search for Wondla. Then there's A Hero for Wondla and The Battle for Wondla. And for those of you wondering if there's going to be a season 2, according to comingsoon.net and The Hollywood Reporter, Skydance Animation, the studio responsible for animating Wondla, has made a season 2 deal with Apple TV Plus. So that means that there's going to be a season 2, but there's no official release date. So there's a lot to be determined. Hopefully it means there's going to be a season 2. In the meantime, we'll just speculate and see if it gets greenlit.
I like speculation.
Yeah.
Those are our thoughts on Wondla.
Thank you for trusting us.
We are honored to be your first.
For information about this podcast and more, please visit motelmaurice.com.